themselves for the Six Invitational, but they certainly have not earned your social prediction vote, it seems. 20% is all that they will have, according to the Twitter poll. And of course, these guys have their sights set on much more than just an early exit from the Swiss phase. They came through their group with flying colors, and now they look to take on the best.
Well, keep in mind, even if you do go down one match, it is not over for you yet. It is a Swiss phase in phase 2. You have to lose 3 before you're out of it. So for Geekay, they're going to see how deep they can make their run. But drawing W7M as the first matchup is rather unlucky.
It certainly is. W7M have had a phenomenal last 2 years, making every single major in 2022, finally making it to their first final at the Six Invitational at the start of this year, having a complete roster revamp, bringing on 2 new players in Felipox and Nade. Now they've won their first major, looking for a second. But they've stuck together since Copenhagen. This is the same 5 players from that championship roster. On the flip side, Geekay have made a lot of roster changes since Copenhagen, and the big one is bringing in the European of Noodle, who's played Stage 2 with them. Now for this event, they've also brought on Leader on loan from Heroic due to a substitute being required due to some visa issues. Now let's see if they can hack it with the big dogs after only having a single scrim before their first match here. They are very green, but they are very keen.
Right, Banned Plays has flown past us as well on Clubhouse. Maverick to be banned out by W7M, as well as KE does leave in the Thatcher, and picked off on the other side as well as Felipox over on the Bandit. So we can anticipate some of that Thatcher Bandit minigame to be played out in this particular match of Clubhouse. Starting us out down in the basement though are W7M as they look to extend themselves out through the map. It looks like it's going to be aided by the castle as well of JV, looking to see if he can lock out some of that ground floor and make it a little more tricky for Geekay to cut in half this roam.
Does seem to be quite an ambitious roam here for W7M in this setup phase. All 5 players have vacated the bomb site to set up off-site utility. JV has done a great job with these castle barricade at slowing down this attack. As you can see, a nice castle barricade here on the storage window. This is a primary cutoff spot for a lot of teams. You can look deep down into blue from that angle, and they're just looking to slow down GK. I think this is going to be a kind of pullback defense, and GK will have to make sure that they can keep pace.
Kind of like this from W7M. Yes, they are going for the extended roam through all 3 maps, but they are still choosing to actually keep the moto hatch closed. Often that is the fall-off route for a lot of these roamers, but they are leaning into the stairwells instead, which I do think is a good play. Honestly, I think it does stunt the attack through the mid-round more, having one of your options remaining closed. Meanwhile, here goes Geekay on their attempt at this roam clear. Immediately placing some of their supports on this cut-off position is Key on the other side of KZ, who can actually take him down, but not out just yet.
The line is down on the floor, and Key knows about it. He is the hard breach for this roster, and he has the diffuser in hand, so he needs to not die here. Not dying is more important than securing that kill, but Herd steals it away. Looking for a refrag now are GK, and they find it. They will be able to guarantee that numbers advantage once they secure the kill onto the bleeding KZ above.
Oh, but KZ's going to be revived by his teammate.
Oh, no,
Nate. Oh, he's going to be caught out, though. 2 kills for Shom as he creeps his way up the main stairs. And now with a 4-on-2 advantage, Geekay can surely execute into the bomb site after this.
Yeah, they've got 1 minute and 40 seconds, Manny. There's no need to rush whatsoever. Felipox and JV have a hell of a big task ahead of them. You might have taken down the hard breacher, but it doesn't matter when you've only got 2 players left on your defense.
It's not looking too good from the remaining players of W7M, but playmaking opportunity could happen, as they still do need to make this conversion from the ground floor into the basement. It's always kind of tough trying to coordinate one of these hatch drops to work, even in the man advantage. And if Felipox can be a little bit of a thorn in their side, it's possible for the remaining 2 players of W7M, but very tricky.
Oh, patience will be a virtue here for Hasham. He lands a single bullet into JV, who now knows that somebody lies waiting in Moto. 2 kills so far for Hasham. He needs to make sure not to die here. Reloading would give an opportunity for JV to take that fight. Leader, meanwhile, has moved into dirt.
Clean execute with 45 seconds left to go is what Geekay are looking for, and here goes Hasham.
He needs to land this shot, but JV gets the better of him. Last man standing, though, for W7M. Nice use of the track. Sting is there. Nice backstab from Leader. GK are fired up after a flying opening attack.
Great breakdown of the roam game as well from Geekay. They immediately injected themselves in the halfway point of the roam. They didn't go for your classic top to bottom roam. They really didn't want W7M to have a comfortable fall-off game. And immediately putting the pressure onto the stairwells, that will be the fall-off spot, of course, was exactly what Geekay needed to do. Dedicating a lot of players to making sure that main stairs position was absolutely not safe for KZ to play in or to be rezzed in. And even though Herds tried to go in and help him, he was taken down in a pinch as well. And I think Geekay had an excellent read of how to take down that roam.
So Mandy, it was 80-20 on the social vote. I gotta ask, what do you think? Do you think that Geekay deserve more than that? They've already started with a solid round. W7M are the best to ever do it in the last year though, so it's hard to paint a picture where Geekay are the favored team. How many rounds do you expect they should get in this game?
I hope they get a couple, you know. I mean, we can always hope for a competitive game, especially from this team. I feel like they've had such a great trajectory throughout stage 2. Going flawless in your league, it's not that easy, especially on, you know, by the time they hit week 3, they could take down Falcons 7-2 on this very map, actually. On Clubhouse, they took down Falcons. And so if there is any map for Geekay, we have agreed on Geekay, right?
That's what apparently, yeah. Fresh asked, I believe it was Leader, and Leader told him it was Geekay. So
yeah, we're agreeing on Geekay.
There you go.
That is what Geekay did take down Falcons on. So if there's any map that you think that they'd be strong on, it would be this one, right? Right?
You'd think so. W7M, I think it was you who said it, right? Best Clubhouse team in the world.
It was Jesse, actually.
Jesse said that. Line. There you go. He's going to have to eat his words if they lose this.
Or Fresh. I can't remember one of them.
I don't know. They're all analysts. They're all the same to me.
Anyway, here we go. Noodle down in the ground floor. This is actually a really interesting setup, right? They have the shields inside of Lounge, but it's being blocked off by an observation blocker behind it. So even though the drone work can come through inside of Lounge, they don't actually know how much has been dedicated behind it. But there goes KZ in that very power position. Taken down, but not out by Key, or sorry, by Noodle on the other side, as he claims the first one onto Key.
Yeah.
2 down.
Yeah, he's just knocked 2 of them on the ground. He's going to have to walk through this Rooney Syria gate in order to confirm the second one. Herds goes down, and once again, W7M are doubling, they're tripling down on these fallen comrades.
Save him.
Nade wants it, but this is a really devilish angle to try and fight. A nade comes in from Noodle. Not the nade that KZ was hoping to come his way. And JV's gone down as well. Finally, KZ bleeds to death. All up to Nade and Philippox as that Monty has approached and made things very, very challenging for Philippox. A C4 goes out, but Geekay are ready to put this one in the bag. That's one for Philippox as the trade comes through. Leader secures it. Back-to-back attacks for Geekay Esports.
Seriously impressive stuff from Geekay. I mean, they had such a good breakdown of the ground floor. The entry that came in from Noodle was perfect on the other side of the map. Knowing that there was no one there, I can only imagine with just how quickly he got in the building. There must have been like a pre-placed in bar or something like that to send him right on in, and then getting 2 downs onto the core of that defense in the ground floor was perfect. And off the back of that, the rest of the players of Geekay sprung into life, and they claimed the execute easy as you do it.
2-0 on the attack for Geekay on one of W7M's best maps. I asked Foxay and Tim, Ace, what they expected out of this game, what kind of a result, and the consensus was 7-2. Obviously in favor of W7M. Yeah, they've got there too, and I expect they'll be gunning for a hell of a lot more than that. This has been really, really good. Geekay are reading into this aggression from W7M. They're finding early picks, and they are locking W7M out of refragging.
W7M, they're going to take us back down to the basement.
5 seconds left.
But they've changed their philosophy of the bomb site. They are not looking to do an extended roam through the entire map, but instead hunk down in the bomb site itself, leaning into some of that late game anti-execute utility of the Fenrir, of your catch in the Wamai, and even of the Izami as well, to make it even harder to make that conversion from the ground floor through to the basement work. They're so cautious.
Yeah.
Playing it really safe.
With how much W7M has played aggressively in the early round, I think it's a good read for GK. W7M, the onus is on them to change their playstyle and adapt. Look, guys, getting over aggro, pushing to try and collect our teammates when they go down. These things have not been working for us.
Nade holding on to blue despite the window being open on the other side, as Leader is going to jump on it himself. Finally, it does force Nate to fall off as the hatch has been open instead behind him, and that's all 5 W7M players now back on the safety of the bomb site.
Good info from leader there. Herd's likely to take that drone down indeed. As you said, all 5 on site now for W7M, but this is basement clubhouse. That's very normal, that's very doable, especially when you've got your Fenrir, your Azami, and your smoke for the late game as well. The Wamai will also protect a lot of these power positions. We've seen some late round executes on the back of good grenades. Here comes a nade from Hashom that is going to take down a Kiba barrier, and I believe it may have even taken down one of the Fenrir gadgets. No, actually, the Dread Mine has still stayed up. Will this second one get that Dread Mine? That is high value utility. It does, and another nade through. Beautiful start there for Geekay as they find 2 picks. Hertz, however, does trade himself out against Trix. Hashom's found another. W7M continuing this aggression, but it will not work.
Great read on the aggression as well from Hashom, anticipating that in the numbers disadvantage, W7M are going to be going for plays, and he captures 2 on the exact same doorway, but it's going to be shut down by JV on the other side. 1 versus 3, he can't get it done, and GK can claim their 3rd in a row.
3 rounds straight. Every single time GK have 3 players left still alive at the end of it. That is a comfortable round win 3 times in a row for the Saudis.
That was so well read from Hashom. He knew that even though they were in the man advantage, he didn't want to execute unless his team was there. And instead he went, they're probably going to run at me, hey? And he sat on the moto door knowing that that was going to happen and collected 2 picks off exactly that happening.
I mean, it's been the same story for all of these rounds, right? W7M think that they've got an opportunity to get aggro, and GK read them like a book. Now it's time for Igor to smack some sense into the boys who took home a major trophy just a few months ago.
GK worked the map so fast there. Like, I know that they'd been forfeited all the real estate through the mid-round, but the moment that they had that opportunity, they just sent it. They didn't dilly-dally on the execute and spend loads of time having to think about what's going on. They just absolutely went flying through it.
Not a lot to say in the GK camp at the moment.
I'll try to get a camera on TC.
Yeah, very technical, in fact, talking about where they're going to pre-place their cameras. Nothing crazy needs to be said for GK. They can just continue strolling on through. They don't have to overcomplicate things. And the energy, look at that. Heartbreak in JV's eyes, losing that round.
Not a comfortable position now for W7M, but 1 round at a time is what they need to take it. Going over to gym and bedroom, once again, having a crack at a different bomb site. They are leaning into that Azami Castle combination to make it really tricky to break away at the interior of the map. This is a really nice free cam as well. You guys can't see because it is a little bit off the screen, but of a hidden Valkyrie camera, the one that GK were actually talking about is actually placed inside of CCTV, right? Not the one that GK were talking about, sorry, but that W7M have actually placed inside of CCTV to try and enable some of those C4 games to come up from bottom up. And it does make me wonder what the approach is from GK that they were speaking about in the previous tactical timeout.
Yeah. Well, it was W7M's tactical timeout, but GK had plenty of things to talk about as well after the 3 successful rounds. Now, my question, Mandy, did W7M like change up their playstyle completely? Of course, they've changed bomb site, but they have to change up their playstyle. Like, surely Geekay, or GK rather, have been so proficient at dealing with early aggression.
Well, I think the idea here with W7M strategy, like, you've got the castle and the Azami, so you want to really bunker down. The interior of the map is going to be really hard to break into, especially with the lack of ranged explosives that GK have got. They've only got 2 sets of grenades on the Sledge and on the Nook. They don't really have your Ashes, your Sophias, that kind of thing like that. So a lot of those Kiba barricades and even some of the castles are going to stay active for the defense through the round.
Unfortunately, these castle barricades can easily be taken out by the Sledge here on this balcony. Key's actually not going to take the second one down. Okay, this is nice as well. Like, that is a free Kiba barrier. There's not really much point for KZ to put that one up. It doesn't burn much time at all. He does another one. He's looking to get aggressive as KZ, but this has not worked for W7M. Every time they've tried it, the aggression continually, it's always punished. KZ once again loses his life because of it. Elsewhere, fortunately, we see W7M come to life. 2 picks, a nice peek from the balcony. And Felipox has brought this back into an advantage for the Brazilians.
Yeah, and even though the wall has been opened up now, 2 players going down outside of the balcony means you don't really have the redundancy in the attack to now then cover the rest of the aggression that W7M might be bringing in. Here goes Hertz through the top of the main stairs to claim 1 onto leader. There is still another player inside the balcony, but Noodle, he turns away, and it's just 1 player left for Geekay. It's Trix on the other side in a 1 versus 3 with only 20 HP to do it.
Very low, but he knows where both of these players are. He needs to isolate these ones, and he doesn't even have the diffuser. I think he's getting spotted on a Valkyrie camera too. Still not going for that kit. He's instead going to force these 1v1s. Nade full HP in Logistic Office. JV doesn't want to overextend, but he needs to be in position to support his teammate. He gets the sound cue and mops up the final kill to meet the first round for W7M.
All right, call me overthinky, okay? And it probably is a little bit overthinky. But even though it kind of looked a bit silly from the POV of KZ, like re-putting the Kiva barricade on the window over and over and over again, what's that making the sledge do on the other side? He's only sitting on the window the entire time, hitting the sledgehammer on the window over and over and over again, right? And that means that by doing that, they're locking players out on the balcony, having to spend like loads of time there. Playing on the balcony sucks, right? Because you can either be jumped out on, you can be killed from garage, or suicide window, or whatever you want to call it, right? And so you have to have players that are actively looking in those positions. And by KZ being here, even though it looked a little bit silly, it then went and enabled the rest of his teammates to go for those peeks onto the players on the balcony and really cut that attack in half. And I think that was sort of like the beauty behind that defense, even though it looked a bit silly.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because we talked about W7M getting red and their aggression not working out in the first 3 rounds. They didn't stop playing aggressively as a result. They just tried to make their aggression work even more. They said, okay, when we're making these aggressive plays, we have to make sure that we have the right read, that we have the right play. And really, the majority of that round result, like you said, was won because W7M killed 3 players on the balcony.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's calculated aggression, right? You draw a reaction from your enemies, and then you strike off the back of that. And that's exactly what W7M did in that last round. They're going to send us back down into the defense. So far, no successful defenses on the defense, which could spell disaster, probably, in most series that we would say, but it is W7M. And here goes JV to pick one up onto Noodle. Very first early pick for the defense.
That ram, the boogie, is so frustrating. It just makes so much noise, and it can be even hard because it's so loud to tell where exactly it is and what angle it's opening up. And now the hatch in kitchen's being opened. The floor has already been completely minced apart by that ram. Key's doing some droning. Now the question is, there is one roamer all the way over in strip. And in the late round, it could win the round for W7M with the big flank.
Nade on the other side of this is trying to play the minigame against the Hibana with the impacts and shooting them through some of the abstract dart that's gone down on the hatch. Now, meanwhile, here goes Herds all the way in through the top floor. Do they know he's here? Because if he can somehow come down the main stairs and disrupt this execute as it comes through, it could spell disaster for GK.
Oh, but Key finds the opener. Good start for GK despite losing Noodle early. Here's one for Herds, but he's read perfectly. I'm not sure whether Key had information. It certainly looked like it. But Felipox will hunt for a reply, and that will be secured. Therefore, the hatch will not be popped.
Oh, but here goes Leader down the main stairs, looking to inject himself inside of the bomb site, and it's only JV all on his own here.
He needs to land these shots, but he loses his life. Leader's gone down elsewhere to Felipox, coming back down the main stairs. KZ as well, now in Moto. And these two W7M players must retake. KZ finds the shot. Trix cannot plant. And it's all up to Hasham now on the attacking side. He has the site control, but he doesn't have that diffuser. And he's got 2 players waiting, just waiting for him to take a wrong step.
Good attempt from GK at a sort of like cut in half early execute in onto the bomb site with the opportunities that they've been given, but just not quite working out their way. The rest of the W7M players, they were keyed into the pacing that they brought, and it's now a 2 versus 1. It's winnable. There's about 25 seconds left to do it, but W7M players, they're stacking up together for the double swing.
They don't have information. Oh, but KZ spots him, spots the side of his leg, but not able to land the shots. KZ almost loses his life for it. Don't do this to me, Hisham. Don't give me hope unless you can commit. 1 bullet is all you need. to make this miracle a reality. KZ, one of the best players to ever touch the game. Hasham is prone, and he'll land the shot needed. Fire up, Geekay. You've done the impossible.
I cannot believe that Hasham landed that. When I saw the two W7M players stack up against the door directly where the plant was going down, I was like, it's done. They've done it. W7M, they can finally get their second defense on the board, but Hasham proves us wrong. Poor KZ, man, just giving him a little haircut through the wall as he's getting the plant down was so unfortunate, and it gave the window of opportunity for Hasham to land the 2K.
It's not often that a player like KZ makes a mistake like that. I'm not ripping into him. It's hard, right? I don't deny that was a hard situation. But Hasham had to stick that diffuser for 7 seconds, and KZ spotted him. Now, I think the little pouches on the side there, like there's no actual hitbox on that pouch. But still, the fact that W7M fumbled this 2v1, I can't believe it. Hasham, he's nuts.
That was actually a crazy reaction. Man, I love these guys. They're great. Anyway, here goes W7M. Probably feeling a little dejected after that. That certainly should have been their round to claim, and Hasham stole that one away. We're going to go back over to CCTV and Cash for the final defense of W7M's half, and it does look like they are leaning into the bomb site itself once again, but not actually playing the same setup down inside of Lounge. It does seem like Geekay had a pretty good read of how to break that one down, so W7M instead are thinking, all right, let's just chill out the bomb site instead.
Tell me if W7M going down 4-1 to GK was on your bingo card, because it certainly wasn't on mine. The game's not over yet, but Clubhouse is the most defender-favored map in the entirety of Stage 2. And so, being in this position, fighting from behind, they really need this round, and they need to have a fantastic attack.
I think GK having a big long think about maybe hitting the bomb site. All of the utility on the red stairs. There's no more barbed wire, no more dread mines for the push that could potentially come up later. Meanwhile, the breach has been opened, but impact tricked. So it's not a clean one for GK. And on the other side, Hasham has faced the adversity of the one-way army that's preventing him from getting up the stairs.
Oh no! Leader tried to use his Selma to open up a long angle, but it was caught in a magnet as the EMP had not quite gone off yet. Now Nade finds the opening kill onto Noodle, putting W7M in the advantage. And now, with no more hard breach available, they will not have an entry hole on the CCTV wall.
Yeah, they've squandered the wealth of utility completely. It's brute force from here on out. The only real point of entry they've got is down in for the ground floor. That's the only part that has been vacated by the players of W7M. Unless Hasham can land a nut shot with a pistol, but I don't really see that one happening. Key, on the other side, though, is cooking a nade from bottom up. Hertz has been taken pretty low and is going to take the duel.
Hertz is low, though. Key should be favored in this fight, and Hertz decides to get on out of town. Trix has found the opening kill. I'm not sure exactly where that was from, but Felipox going down is a good start for GK to get back into this round. Like you said, very little hard breach, very little options and avenues to try and clear these power positions, so they need a miracle.
Mate, Hasham, he's dedicated to this. He really wants to keep these two Rafters players at bay so that the rest of the attack can maybe do something, although it'd have to be pretty heroic.
It really would. Well, Leader is no stranger to being heroic. Herds is just around the corner. Leader, if he shoots that dread mine, he will get swung, but Leader finds the kill regardless. Now numbers advantage has flipped on its head.
Oh no, Herds, he mistimed that peak so badly. He was out of the Shadow Realm by the time that Leader went for that kill, but with only 20 seconds left to go, they have to funnel into the bomb site.
And they certainly won't be doing it from the breach. Nade, you're gonna have to land some shots, but instead his head's taken clean off. Leader must move straight on in, as Trix has the diffuser in hand, but he needs to go for kills. He's looking for a safe place to plant, but JV can still hold on. The diffuser will not be planted. W7M fire up to close the half.
And they really should have closed that last round as well. It looks very scary in the dying seconds of the round. It felt like GK had mounted some kind of brute force to execute in through the conside, especially off the back of the double from Leader on the entry. But the remaining two anchors of W7M can hold strong, but it was messy. It was not clean.
Well, time to switch sides. Let's see if that momentum switches as well. W7M have salvaged what was a very dire situation. 2 rounds on their defense is workable.
Such a scary last round. I mean, we're just seeing it in the replays as well. Leader, man, he was just coming out of the Dread Mine effect as he got the kill. Crazy shots, and even on the entry, but KZ was here to hold on to the bomb site and take down the one necessary kill he had to, the mission critical one, and that was the planter. But going over onto the second half, it's a completely different story for W7M. They sort of have a magic in their attacking play style that can be really enjoyable to watch. It makes me wonder if Geekay have got the number on this one.
5 seconds to go.
The Valkyrie was very powerful for W7M when they brought it, and we're seeing it here from Trixt on Geekay. I really like that black eye camera in kitchen though. It's quite a common spot, but because it's hard to take down, it often gets missed. And the same can be said for this one down in bar. Like that is, even with your drone, one that you may miss. And so W7M are going to have to be extra vigilant. No IQ on the board, no Dokkaebi, so there's no easy way to find those cameras.
I don't mind this from Geekay. They don't really want to look for too extended of a roam into the map, knowing that W7M are really quick on these entries. Probably one of the most fast-paced teams in the game at the moment are W7M, as Herds has already made his way inside of stock. He does see the vertical holes through inside of cash, but really they're just a ruse. All the players are back on the bomb site. Except Hasham, he's not.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically on the bomb site. He's a stone's throw away from receding down the main stairs. It's always confusing when you see a roam setup, but nobody roaming. And W7M have to clue in quickly here. Ooh, be careful there, Trixt. You might lose your head if you overpeak this one. KZ's taking a little bit of damage somewhere. I think that's in garage. Must be down from oil pit. Must be getting contested. W7M are looking to cook something here.
They've got 3 players on drones at the moment. Even though they have the entire map forfeited to them, they want to set something up with the intel going here, right? They want to make sure that they've got their... Yep, they've got their backs... Oh, hang on a moment. What's going on here?
Hang on.
Oh, he hasn't been spotted. They have
Since when?
absolutely no idea that Hasham is inside a kitchen. How on earth did he get here?
That E1D hints me at something. I have a feeling that they know. Maybe they don't.
No way.
W7M have not droned this. They have not checked that tiny little hidey corner in kitchen, and Philippox is about to walk straight on in. Hasham stands up and he finds the kill. Philippox has gone down. The diffuser is still in the hands of Nate, who's put some pellets on that hatch but hasn't detonated yet. A good refrag though from Herd secures the kill. That is dangerous though for W7M. Time is ticking.
Oh, but it does mean that they have lost their soft reach, and that means that Trixt, he's going to sit in the back of Arsenal for what is probably the remainder of the round. Okay, never mind, the hatch has been opened, but W7M are starting to run out of time. Yes, the hatch has been opened for them, but they still need to assess the options. Do they want to go for this triple side take, which is where JV is right now, or are they still looking for something down the kitchen hatch? What is going to be the plan?
Oh, this is dangerous. Leaders impact trick that one as well. Herds, he's at the bottom of main stairs, but JV springs into action. All up to Key and Tricks now, but time is not on W7M's side. The numbers might be, but that will fall one by one. KZ, a rough match, gets even rougher. Key now must retake with Tricks to support. Coming in from blue. The player standing right on top of that diffuser. In the cubby corner, Herds does hold on. Nade to jump into the fight. And W7M get one step closer to tying the scoreline.
Great execute there from W7M. I think Geekay just getting a little bit overzealous there on the defense. It did mean that they really tried to jump into the peaks of some of these attacks, and they fell for it.
We've got Laxing on the line. Laxing, what have you noticed?
I mean, you know, Mandy said it best about some teams getting overzealous. I want to talk about W7M specifically. I think they've been really overzealous on their initial defense rounds and trying to take those gunfights instead where they should just slow down and let GK peek into them. And that's what we're now seeing with GK. I think, you know, because you get that mentality of getting ahead in those rounds that you less focus on what the actual play is going to be and you're just trying to dominate that team. So it plays perfectly where GK just needs to slow down and now let W7M peek into them like they originally were doing.
So what's next, Laxing?
I mean, I think W7M is on the clawback now, and we were talking about it in the green room where I think everyone for the most part, was saying stuff about GK that this would be a pretty much clean sweep for W7M, and clearly GK is really putting up the fight against us. So W7M here really needs to read into how they're playing and how GK is playing and countering them, and really just kind of deep dive of like, okay, maybe some rounds we have to play a little more aggressive, or other rounds we don't.
Thank you very much, Laxing. Always good to have some insight from the analysts during the game. W7M do have a shot here, Mandy, at bringing this one back on their attack.
They certainly do, and with their play style as well, it will make it quite challenging for GK to get a comfortable read on the pacing that's gone down. Yes, even though W7M almost ran out of time in that last execute, they were still able to convert it straight through the execute on the attack. But there goes Noodle on a spawn peek, I would dare say, onto Hertz as he tries to make his approach onto the secret window.
Yeah, damn. That's a very troublesome blow, very early. W7M again. Oh, they're not even going to catch that player on that rotation back. Look at how safe an angle Felipox was playing. A lack of confidence, perhaps, for the Brazilians now. They're looking shaky.
They certainly do, and losing the Thatcher isn't the nicest one to be losing out as the first pick as well. Like getting that triple wall open later on with double mute jammer setup that's going down, it's not going to make things any better. But there goes Key, still holding on to secret stairs. JV seemingly unknowing of this position as he's just waiting for him to pop up, but surely Key's got the discipline not to do that.
He certainly does. GK are playing at their peak form at the moment. There's no doubt about it. They were the underdogs going into this game. And here they are on the cusp of a 5-3 lead over W7M. They're on their defense. This is where you expect them to flourish, but their attack was where they established this lead in the first place.
Reloaded.
JV thinks better of it. He doesn't want to jump in through this window because he knows that Key's going to pop up with the shotgun and take him down. Oh, that being said, I am going to take that one back as he almost claims the life of Key jumping in through the secret window. He doubled back on it after opening up the hatch, knowing that Key would have to fall off from that position. He almost claims the life. Not too bad micro from JV, but not quite.
3v5, W7M cannot execute in a numbers disadvantage unless one player goes nuts. And so they will look for picks in this mid-round, but less than a minute remain.
It's almost impossible to convert this, especially in the numbers disadvantage going to a basement execute. You simply do not have enough players to think about getting the bomb down. You said it perfectly. They need to go for picks. They need to go for a flood to actually collect some of these kills before they can do anything. And with only 40 seconds left to go, it's looking pretty dire for W7M.
The only real way to find picks is if someone from GK makes a wrong move. Felipox has one nade still in pocket. He will have to use it to try and find a pick, to try and clear some utility as Nade looks to get rid of this Kiba barrier. Hasham holds the power position. He reloads at the wrong time, and he allows Nade to drop down. In the plant position, a nade goes past, and JV's found one, traded on back, but it all falls apart for W7M. GK once again lock in another advantage.
And a really comfortable defense as well from GK. It was nothing too overcomplicated. Just go for a light roam, a lurk, make sure W7M can't get in early in the ground floor, and then fall back off to safety. And that is what all 5 players on GK were able to do. They really did not overcomplicate it after that. They knew that they had the man advantage up for them. They just didn't need to give that away. I think Laxing pointed it out perfectly. All they needed to do was just hold on, you know, relax and let W7M come to them, especially in an advantageous position, and they did that.
How many people put W7M down to go 3-0 in the Swiss?
Me.
You did. Who'd you put to win the tournament?
Them.
I know you're a big W7M fan, you're a big Brazil fan.
I really thought they could go back-to-back.
There's no doubt about it. I had them as the clear favorites. I expect most people did. And yet, here comes some debut team out of the MENA region. 3 of these players from Saudi Arabia, and of course, Noodle and Leader from the UK. The only player on this team with experience at a major or Six Invitational in the past is Noodle after his extremely brief stint on Heroic back at SI at the start of this year. The guy that was made famous for being in a clip where he got rinsed by his coach. And now here he is on a revenge tour showing just what he is capable of.
And he's had a pretty excellent game so far, has Noodle. Pretty consistent 7-4 scoreline. Nothing to laugh at when you're playing against the Titans of W7M.
All right, W7M. You don't have to worry about a basement attack at the moment. Put that in the back of your mind and see what you can do here on Gym and Bedroom. Now, a bomb site that can be fairly troublesome. W7M themselves managed to successfully win this one. Let's see how they go on their attack, identifying these mute jammers. This will be easily dealt with. There's no bandit nearby, as they have identified. Hasham has fallen on back.
Go, Hasham, go. You can do it. No, maybe you can't. I think the window's open now. That's not so safe. Oh, and he's got to answer his phone as well. Oh, no, don't answer the phone while the wall's being opened. That wouldn't be cool. Oh, okay, he's safe for now. All is well.
Here comes the nade. The nade would have guaranteed that the bandit could not have tricked AK Hertz. He's moved all the way up the main stairs and taken a kill with him. Philippox is dispatched with Noodle. There is a good refrag on the side from Hasham. Oh, almost a second one as JV's bringing it on back. KZ jumps into the fray as well, leaving Leader with it all to do in a 1 versus 4. Far from sight, far from home. And a far cry chance of winning this round. Philippox loses his life, and there's maybe a shot in this for Leader.
Nah, tough one though. He's got to creep his way back inside of Con, and there's a crossfire on that. At the moment, a player inside of Logi, that's KZ, will take him down and clean up the round W7M. Really nice execute, I would say. Honestly, I feel like that was just super well read. There was really no passive intel whatsoever on the main stairs. Even on the wall, as soon as they got open, it was just go time. The moment that Herds made his play up the main stairs, the rest of the team was like, cool, all right, we're just going to send it in after him.
Yeah, it was a good read in the end of it from W7M. KZ having a massive impact coming up. What was it, KZ or Herds? It was Herds coming up the main stairs. Yeah, huge impact from him. A lot of big rounds from Herds in this game so far, as Geekay are now taking their tactical timeout. W7M 1 round away from evening this scoreline once again.
Instead of playing Logi, then we had no playing Logi. When they found the gap, these guys are good at identifying the gaps. You can't let them have these gaps.
Play cash with the C4. We can't let them keep getting these camps.
Interesting. Very interesting. It seems like, from what I understand of that, GK are leaning into something more active, I think. Oh, not really active, but I think they do need to lean into some of that passive intel, to be honest. They really can't be giving W7M the amount of space that they have been giving them, right? And the perfect operator for that is Fenrir. Not only do you have all the dread mines to prevent the early entry from coming in through, that's Trix now putting both a dread mine and the barbed wire on the main stairs, but yeah, you've also got the barbed wire in the secondary utility to make sure that that bottom-up push is not giving to W7M for free. Not just that, but I'm not sure what they were talking about in terms of the cams and stuff like that, but I can only imagine Hasham in his position, like there was no way he was going for the bandit trick on the wall. He had a job, and that was to be on the wall, and he was like, guys, what's the strat? Like, why can't I be there, right? And that's why Leader's got to be a little more careful with these army barricades to actually protect his teammate.
My interpretation of the comment, we can't let them keep getting these cams, is pre-placed from W7M, the drones.
That's probably right.
And
that's true.
so I'm a little bit surprised to see that GK are not expending an operator on going for Solus, because that completely nullifies those pre-placed cameras and really forces the attack to play a lot more carefully with their drones, right? And that does change the pace a lot, especially when you pair it with an operator like Fenrir, which you really need to drone out and find and clear.
It's going to be a hot take. You probably think this is a hot take as well, but I feel like Clubhouse is one of those maps that, like, sometimes you can't really afford Solus. Like, especially on a bomb site like this, where you need so many tools on the defense to, like, keep things closed and together. You kind of need a lot of stuff, and then having, like, one active operator on the Solus, just, like, in the basement somewhere, is, like, it's a bit troll. I don't know.
Too expensive.
Anyway, yeah, it is too expensive. That's the right phrase for it. Troll. Yeah, professional caster, by the way.
Speaking of players off in the basement, we actually do have Hasham, who, believe it or not, is the bandit. He's the one down in Oil Pit at the moment, so he's certainly not looking for an active trick, despite having 2 batteries in pocket.
Yeah, and that's even the breach open for free as well. Hasham going to be taken low by JV, who's made his way in through garage. The C4 to be sent up, but JV's going to try and play him in through the cage in the floor. He doesn't land those, though, and on the other side, it's Noodle to stop the entry in through the kennel's wall.
Yeah, this has been a peculiar start to the round, but W7M have opened up their Jacuzzi breach, and now Philippox is clearing the Azami's Keeper barriers in sight as well. It looks like Hasham might even be able to get back to site safely.
Really nice stuff from GK. Not what I expected, especially because of how much of the bomb site itself they had forfeited. But maybe they just had the right read on W7M. They knew that they were going to look for an injection somewhere else on the map, and they spread themselves thin to stop that from happening. Meanwhile, though, the rest of W7M, I think they are keyed into the fact that the bomb site's looking a little weaker than it did before. They're going to send them some drones. That's Hertz, the captain of the team, to have a look in and see what's going on.
Okay, here come the flashes. Here comes Hertz as well. He might be the captain, but he's also the entry. He goes down to Trix. Meanwhile, Noodle's also been taken out. Trix flashed, but no kill to come through in response. What is that jump out as Army goes down outside? KZ, the last one standing. He found the first kill for W7M. He will have to find the last two as well. On the cusp of double digits, he moves on in. Diffuser in pocket. But will he be able to plant?
It's within the realm of possibility. He's found a nook and cranny inside of the bomb site, and the rest of the GK players are starting to get active on the retake.
Oh,
but KZ
KZ
gets off the plan. He can take down the first, and now Shum with a slither of HP will have to take the 1v1.
We've seen Hasham pull off miraculous clutches already. Can KZ get his revenge? Hasham starts to move on in. KZ lands nothing! Hasham, another clutch! GK have stolen the game, and they find themselves on match point.
And that's 2 for Hasham in the same series against W7M and against KZ. That is one way to rub salt in the wound for W7M when your star fragger goes down to who? Hasham? Like, have you ever heard of this name on the international stage before? Well, now you have.
And a name that I think we will be singing loudly for the rest of the Atlanta Major. And of course in Sao Paulo, Brazil for the Six Invitational. But GK have really made a name for themselves. They have made a profound and resounding statement here against the reigning major champions. W7M, no second chances.
I really think W7M did a lot of overthinking in that last attack. The bomb site really didn't look that strong, especially in the top-down view when we had a quick pan over it through the mid-round. It really felt like once W7M had the wall open, Trix was in a terrible spot in bathroom. It just felt like at that moment, if they had realized the weakness, that they could have looked for something. But I think that because they spread themselves so thin, looking for opportunities across the other side of the map whilst also doing Jacuzzi and tandem, that there was such a disconnect in the attack that they kind of fumbled it by the time that they actually decided to hit and execute. They didn't look like they were a unit, and GK, they completely exploited that.
Take a deep breath, W7M. You can't afford to make any mistakes here, and they must attack down onto the basement once again.
Noodle's got to fall off. The secret wall, window rather, being opened up and a nade to be sailed on through. It's actually, I think it is all 5 GK players back onto the bomb site. It is the basement, of course. It can be notoriously difficult to execute. That being said, W7M, they've been given the entire map for free with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left to do it.
JV's in the building. W7M have been quick here. They're wasting no time whatsoever. Falcons might have made a name for Mena in Copenhagen.
Player and strip.
But GK are furthering that name even further, and that is Hasham, the man of the hour. On this Roman strip, he goes down.
Good read there from Nade to make sure that he was cut off and none of his silly business, and Key as well, looking for a little bit of a main stairs hold as Hertz is going to round the corner here. Send a flashbang out, but it's not going to allow him the kill. But oh, Key, he re-aggresses with the shotgun in hand. He's not scared to take the fight.
This is the Hibana. Hertz, 10x Kairos in pocket. You need to keep those alive into the late rounds. Key also doesn't want to lose his life. That C4 somehow taken down by the sledgehammer. Felipox thanking his lucky stars he did not lose his life.
That is so fortunate for Felipox, and on the flip side, so unfortunate for Key. He had the perfect placement of that C4, but just didn't quite detonate it in time for it to be destroyed. Now it's W7M with mid-round control. They can start to open up the floor and get this vertical game going. It means that Noodle's not going to feel too safe in the back of Arsenal, but really there's no one actually there contesting him. Noodle's going to keep sitting on this position as the rest of W7M look to open up the rest of their options over in Moto.
Leader's in a good position, but he does get flashed. Nade on the other side. Oh, Key. Once again, he could be the linchpin with this shotgun if he finds something. Noodle finds the opener. Noodle finds a second. W7M fighting from behind. Key gets aggressive. He is ambitious. But Noodle finds his third. It's all for GK here. as W7M start to bring it back one by one, but Key has taken a gamble that there's no one on the hatch above him, and he moves aggressively in. He finds another kill for Epox to stave off defeat. One kill will not be enough. Leader and Key have the diffuser held in their grasp, and Philippox must find every one of them. Men are best Brazil for the first time. Geekay are making history, and they've beaten out W7M, the reigning major champions.
And in such an impressive way as well. It didn't feel overthought. They just played their game, and they had W7M on the ropes, overthinking